might go on. I'll have to go back.
You won't gamble today, Sam.
Sorry. Just too excited to go here. I left without my cable or the gavel.
Yeah, we've got apologies from Councillor Pruden and Councillor Flynn. Other than that, I believe we're all full. Disclosures of interest, anyone?
No.
Good. Any other questions or yes?
Yeah, I wasn't here for September meeting, unfortunately, but the minutes you're hopefully about to approve, item 206 says you resolve to accept Assure's proposed change to a leasehold term of 999 years. Can I just ask if that was the case, what was the point of the 28th of September meeting, which had exactly the same agenda item, and resolved to accept the leasehold term of 999 years?
On the September meeting, it was conditional on them being agreeable to us putting some extra covenants about the an insolvency clause and about the use of the land as an operational.
It doesn't say conditional, it just says resolve to accept that and you
yeah,
then go on to the other bit, so it's not.
There was a lot of discussion about the exact wording of the resolution, that was the one that was agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just seemed to me to be a waste of the parish's precept, a waste of the clerk's cost of room hire wages and your time to do something you've already voted on, that was all. And just for interest, you might be aware you've got exactly the same agenda item again listed at 13 on this agenda.
That was just because I left it on because I wasn't sure whether we would resolve that.
Can I just ask one more on that? After the meeting, I did speak to the chair outside, because there obviously was some things going on, and you stated to me that there was information that PC had that I wasn't privy to. I fully accept that. The agenda item did say to receive an update. You went straight to that meeting and just went straight to a vote. Would that not have been an ideal time to give an update to the parishioners that were here to let them know why you were doing that?
I believe I did give an update at the meeting. I informed the parish that the planning application had been submitted.
Yes, but you have a reason for why.
Let me finish. The planning application was submitted. It was currently with County Council for review. Azura were in conversation with NPC with regards to their lease term. There was an update given in my opinion. Unfortunately, if you disagree with that, sorry. Can I just touch base back onto you pointed out the second meeting? There were no costs for the clerk for that meeting because she didn't attend the meeting.
She would have been cost because she would have had to prepare the agenda, she would have had to do things, and she did turn up, so there would be a minimal cost, but there would be a cost for her.
In your opinion?
Oh, are you doing things for free now, can I ask? Well,
I think Claire does a fair bit for free, to be honest.
Even when you would share break.
Well, it's just, you know, you just say that these things occur at costs that you may not be aware of. In that case, you know, just be careful what you say to me, because when you say to there's information I'm not privy to, you know, it makes me think that you're keeping something quiet. And that the whole, most of the people on here were voted on because they wanted to make things more open and transparent.
I don't recall that conversation that I said that there weren't things we weren't privy to. That you've not been present at every meeting this year where we've discussed the surgery, which is a point you've noted. You missed that last meeting where we discussed that. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah, there's a little question on finance and one about parish meetings. May I just ask them at the time if it's not brought up?
No, that's fine, just go ahead.
The finance one, it was just a question on, there's a cost for the portal plan quest of £526 and it's under the head of expenditure for the multi-use building. I was just wondering what that one was for, please.
That's the planning application for the building at Recfield.
Planning application for Recfield.
Yeah.
Did we not?
So can we have one question at a time, sir?
Well, it's public questions.
Well, yeah, and
well,
you speaking.
It's just a follow-up. So I thought we actually had money allocated for that at a previous meeting. There was an application, a fund that we agreed to. You had a fund that you were applying for, and sorry, you had a fund that you were applying for money from, and I actually made a point that you didn't need to do that because you actually had money available out of the multi-user building, and I was told that was incorrect, that you needed that fund for moving the planning application forward. So now it appears that I was correct and that you can take it out of the multi-user building. The next question would be...
Before, no, but it's still the same question.
Excuse me, sir. Let the lady finish.
The other one was for
You're getting your turn.
the Hardman Design building. The Hardman Design and Build is a cost for 2,850 for Riverside. Is that a second payment for the ramp?
Yes, it's towards, yes.
Yes, it's towards it.
So obviously it was not started in the August timeframe, and it's been laying dormant ever since there was a start on it. I was just wondering what the plan is for that and how long is it going to take?
I believe that the materials are being ordered and they're on, there's a lead time to get the materials, which is what the second payment helps towards to cover the cost of that.
Okay. There's a question relating to the standing items to receive reports. So the question is, Azura, has Felton Parish Council had meetings with Azura since the public meeting in Felton earlier in the year, I believe? There was a public meeting in the hall here. So has Felton Parish Council had a meeting with Azura since that time?
We have not had a public meeting since that time.
No, not a public meeting, sorry, a Parish Council meeting.
Not with Azura, no.
Not with Azura. Have you had a meeting or discussions with the internal integrated care board and or Northumbria primary care?
No.
No. So you've had no meetings with the primary care integrated care board, and there hasn't been a parish council meeting with Azura since that public meeting. Thank you.
Can I just clarify the first question in terms of the payment for the planning consent? Is that a payment to the council?
Yes.
Okay. I've got a question just related to the minutes that have been published in this agenda for the 11th of September. On the agenda of the 11th of September on finance, there was 7 items listed on the agenda for approval, but in these published minutes there's something like 14 items, so I don't understand how if there's 7 items have been approved that didn't appear on the agenda.
They were presented to the Parish Council on the screen on the night.
I don't believe there were.
They were.
Well, I believe Mr. Culprit videoed that meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Culprit?
No.
No, he didn't. Well, fortunately I did. I looked at the video and I didn't see it being presented.
They definitely were.
So he presented, I'll just quote from the list that's on there, David Ogilvy Cemetery Assets. There's a bill of £3,528. So at that meeting, you're claiming that the amount of £3,528 was stated to the councillors before they voted on it.
Yes.
Right, okay. There's an item, staff salaries and expenses, which was marked as to be confirmed. Now in these minutes, it's actually listed as £3,115. Can you elaborate on what those staff salaries are?
Yes, it's staff salaries.
But there's already an item at the top of there for staff salaries, so this appears to be an additional £3,000. So why are there now 2 entries for staff salaries totaling £4,000 in one month?
Because we didn't meet in August, so there's what would have been presented in August, which is the top amount, and then the second amount which would have been presented at the September meeting.
So these are just normal salary payments, they're not back payments or anything? Okay. Right, that's it.
Anyone else? Right, moving on. Minutes of the previous meeting to approve as record in this meeting held with the council on the 11th of September, pages 2 to 6. Do we have any further comments on the minutes from the council? We've had a comment from the member of the public with regards to
minute 211.
yeah, minute 211, where we wish okay, good.
In minute 211, which relates to planning, I've simply commented that we received the list of ongoing planning matters and we noted planning application relating to the airfield is likely to go to the NCC local planning committee. And the member of the public has commented that some of the councillors made comments regarding having to close their windows and doors, and comments about low-flying aircraft over their gardens, and has requested that some of those comments are added into the minutes.
We did talk about the Jubilee tree planting and the stone trough plant and the winning design from the fair, but it seemed to get lost in numbers between.
Was that at the same time as the plan?
That was before the wetland.
Oh, sorry.
Those items in.
Just wait till the next meeting.
On that basis, we'll push the drafts to the next meeting to get them formulated then. Move on to item 5, finance. Did you see financial summary and budget monitoring to 26th September, pages 7 to 10?
Page 10, on the version I received, there was a whole lot of expenditure on the side with a partial heading saying Felton Cemetery with bits missing. So,
Yes, I have that trouble as well.
so my printer's not working very well anyhow.
Wasn't your printer?
Oh, right.
Well, mine hasn't printed out like that, so we don't know why.
Okay.
It's printed, the DocX version printed, but the PDF
It's weird.
went haywire.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you print off the PDF?
I probably did. I wouldn't know actually.
That's
That's a very technical question. It was on the screen, it looked wrong, but that might have been the printer version. Because on my computer you have to click twice on the printer.
No, it wasn't printed, mine didn't work either.
Okay.
Sorry about that, I don't know why that's happened.
I should have asked earlier, but
To be fair, well, I'll just print one off next time and check it's printing properly in the
Thank you.
PDF version before I send it round.
so is it on page 10 on the screen?
It's page
Because it
10.
looked almost as if it was next page.
No, it shouldn't be. I don't know why it's on that. That's page 10 there.
Oh, weird. So got it. It's actually reproducing the left-hand column
Oh.
on the right hand of the page
Is it weird? I will check it next time.
and doing it several times by the look of it. But it does add up.
Okay, it's always a positive. Any comments? Any questions? Moving on then to authorised payments, we've got staff salaries, planning portal, hardening design, and invoice for the painting of the railings at the cemetery.
For what?
The painting of the railings at the cemetery. Yeah. Could I take a vote to approve?
What was portal plan request again?
That's the Retfield
Retfield.
planning application.
Ah, right, okay.
It's
Right.
because it comes through, so you fill it in online on the, via a link from the Northumberland website, and then it takes you to a payment portal. So it's a different company.
Well, that's what came up on the bank statement.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Committees and working groups, receive minutes and reports from the committee groups. Do we have any?
Include minutes, committee minutes.
Yeah, they're not done up yet. So there's the Retfield and the property working groups and that.
Not yet. Yeah, Redfield probably met, and this is still in preparation at this point.
Do you want me to talk about the rivers meeting in this bit, or is that?
Yeah.
Can I just hit the cemeteries first, because that was
Yeah.
Parish. We had a meeting on Thursday night, and the stuff moving forward for the remembrance service is all in plan, and the new seats have arrived for the war memorial. So at some time we need the management group to do a bit of
Yeah, no,
installation fees.
we are planning it.
And we agreed the budget of the proportional payments and things from each of the parishes for the next year. And if anybody has any 18-inch long flags, please come out.
Sorry.
Flagstones.
Wow.
It's probably not an appropriate place to raise it, but I was talking to somebody who was visiting the village down by the war memorial about grass cutting and broken fences, and this, it was raised by the state of the riverside ramp. So I explained everything, but I said we don't seem to be able to find out who actually is responsible for that fence, which is not only broken but rotting now. And I just wondered whether putting new benches in is going to make it look even worse with the
Well,
Do
the
you
new
think
benches
the
are
fence-
the other set.
Just-
The new benches are going for the war memorial, not.
We do have it covered in item 11 in the agenda today.
right. Thank you.
We're going to discuss it.
So yeah, we had a wee rivers meeting last week where some members of the biodiversity committee and other members of Parish Council met with a group of local people with a common interest in monitoring water quality in the Coker, which we had agreed to be go ahead from us. So it was-
Local being Rothbury and down
yeah,
all
of the
the
whole
square.
length of the Coker,
Yeah.
right down for, I think from as far inland as Thropton right down
Yeah.
to the harbour. There's already somebody putting a funding application in for getting testing kits, but the general gist was if they succeeded in that, then we would include the whole of Coker. Generally, it was people that were volunteering to do the testing and interested that were coming together. I myself I've got a contact with the environmental agency now, who I'm discussing it with, where there might be further funding to come from that to go towards it. And the plan this week to put a strategical plan together, hopefully launching in January with, I think the initial plan was to do monthly testing plus breakdown testing when there was an event, and set up a communication network for doing that. So it was quite a nice little meeting, and a lot of people, quite interested in things. So yeah, that was good.
Can I ask a queer question on that?
Mhm.
Have you been able to get any useful history of Northern Water's history of dumping sewage?
I think it's kind of, it is commonly available, it's widely available and things. But we need to set, what I've said as well, is that we're going to try and set up communication with the works in Felton to start a dialogue with them as well.
And the guy from the Rivers Trust knew a lot of contacts in Northumbria Water and all the regulators and so on. So there's a huge amount of information available on outflows and dumping. It has, I think the regulations say it has to be made available, even if we don't like the regulations. They do make sure there's information available. And I think there's a map with all the stations on it as well. So there's a lot of information that we need to collect. And we did talk about trying to put together a bit of an organisation which would have somebody responsible for collating all the data, somebody for overseeing the scientific compatibility of what different groups were doing up and down. Because the WI, I think nationally, have a target this year of monitoring beaches and rivers for sewage dumping. So we had WI people from Anwell and Rothbury who came to the meeting. And we are also looking for someone to do some publicity so that the whole project gets described well and illustrated well, and we can put things like that in Parish magazine, so to the press. Look north. So it was not just a little meeting, it was very good.
Lots of information, it's what you do about it, it's the tricky thing.
Yeah. So I think he was getting us contacts within the anglers and getting the information from them, and we were next set to have another informal meeting after the Ranting About Rivers talk in Swarland on Tuesday the 17th.
So we're actually next meeting, is it? Or is that
Yeah,
a talk?
We're meeting after the talk, so I think there were quite a few of us who were going to go and support, is it Steve?
Around about the river.
Ranting About Rivers, and then we were going to go to the club afterwards and see where we're up to.
Yes, this isn't an official committee of the
No, I understand that.
council.
Yeah,
It's working on the project.
Good to be in.
No, that's good.
And the biodiversity and climate change, I circulated the report from Chris Meverell on Verges. If any of you have read it, then you've done well, because it's very detailed. It's very thorough, let's say. Although he's left spring out, so 50% of the potential information is missing. And he's very happy to do a further review in the spring, early summer. But he's put in conclusions there which we need to discuss, and the next committee meeting will be on the 9th of November. It's in the schedule. Everybody welcome.
On the neighbourhood plan, I've produced a very provisional vision statement for the neighbourhood plan, which I'll read out to you. This is, like I said, very provisional, none of this is finalised. So long-term goals, Felton will value the diversity of its community by encouraging...
Can you send this to me so I don't have to
Sure. Felton will value the diversity of its community by encouraging housing that meets the needs of a broad spectrum of people of different wealth, ages and backgrounds. Number 2, Felton will both encourage and require development that will contribute towards the UK's net zero target in 2050. Number 3, Felton will value and protect its rural Northumbrian character and will designate green spaces within the parish for the benefit of wildlife and all community members. And number 4, Felton recognises the pressures it's under from modern transport and will work to provide infrastructure to help with parking and traffic flow needs. So that's first go. Basically.
But no HS2 and no 20 mile an hour speed limit anymore.
Okay,
Well, it's Landrup one, isn't it?
No, that's good. Property
The
management.
management committee, if you just reviewed what we've done in the past and went further down on it,
Yeah.
identify the griffins to be replaced, the benches to be removed.
We had anything about boomers.
Uh,
Will it, I'll
Yeah.
look that up again.
We've ordered, we have ordered some bins, and there's going to be a bit of a reshuffle of bins,
Yeah.
basically.
Just be like the boomers and all this stuff.
Thurston, I'm a lucky job.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a big bin holds all sorts, not just.
Yeah, so we
Oh,
were,
so
Yeah.
it's a place
Yeah.
that was a big
Yeah.
bin,
yeah,
Big
so
bin.
we're sort of shuffling the bins around, so there'll be a
If
bigger,
any
Okay.
new bins are,
Yeah.
new bins are purchased, we can look down the green
Mhm.
route as
I think there'll be a bigger bin, there's a bigger bin going to go at Hill Rise, the small one there will move up to Coker Park, and then we'll look at replacing the ones that need to be done down the lane.
Retro?
Yes.
The stuff around the Retfield is probably not as normal. Only thing of interest, the mugger, I think we now have a complete set of quotes to look at for refurbishing the mugger surface, which will, hopefully we can look at and come to a conclusion on our next meeting, which is about 21st.
19.
Sorry?
19.
19.
Oh no, maybe it's not that one.
And if the members of the contract committee could join us, or at least look at the stuff first.
I am.
And then be moving forward.
Am I on the contracts committee?
Right.
Well,
If you're not, if in doubt, if in doubt, Richard.
Stepping down, just come on.
Yes, it'd be, when you send out your notice for the Recfield committee, can you make sure that it gets circulated?
Oh, yes.
Can't be overdoing the committees at the moment, but there we go.
So that's this month.
Yeah.
The 19th.
19th,
Yeah.
yeah. 7:50.
Of October.
Yes.
Okay, that's everything now. Representatives,
Oh,
parish.
that's the just one.
Oh, there is one covered there, and in any other teams, and
No, I've got
yeah,
the
this
Thursday.
week, yeah, okay. Any reports from county council? Anything from Ria? So item 10, white railings at the end of Soft Lane. That's ongoing issues.
It's an ongoing issue, and it's just, I mean, it's on there to fix my street now, it doesn't seem to move. You know, they said that they'd assessed the work and that's all that seems to have happened. I'm guessing it's not a priority for them, but it's pretty shameful.
Yeah.
It looks bad and it's,
What's dangerous, where all the stones are loose?
Can I say about maintenance, South View, all the capping stones are either fallen off or very wobbly and then fallen off, and a lot of children walk around it on top of them. My wife's rang up the council a couple of times, they're just passing the buck to each other. So I would like one is to ring up and ask them to come and assess it, please, for one kid gets injured. That's more so,
yeah,
South View.
they are good stones walking along.
The them you refer to is the county council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's, can we not get our
You try and
county council
through
to
their Fix My Street app.
My wife dealt with it somehow, I don't know, she got, they said it wasn't council problem, sent it to somebody else, she went back and said, no, it's council, so.
Right. Okay.
What, are they trying to budget to highways?
I think so.
No, we can look at it added on.
I could easily go along and just pop loads off, like that's all I used to do.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I mean, have we got a bypass from just, because if they just keep saying put it on Fix My Street?
I don't know, I mean, we did, was it the property management committee, we stopped saying maybe we need to,
I think you've discussed the white fence there and thought, but do we then, for instance, where we've got the rotten mats in it, do we remove that for safety and then, but then you
But
then
as soon as we start messing with it, if
Yeah.
anything happened, we would be
Yeah.
liable.
To be liable. I think we asked whether we wrote to them and said,
Yeah.
we are going to take massive, you know, we are going to do this and effectively bill them for the work in the same way as they would do it the other way around.
Yeah.
I know,
But we don't fix everything and then do it through them.
No.
Because
I know.
it seems to be a common theme at the moment that something's busted dangerous and we let them know and nothing happens about it.
or we can get an email out to them saying that there's been no action on this since it was logged. Would they be happy if we rectified it and sent an invoice on? Richard?
perhaps we could ask our ward councillor if he'd like to inaugurate the repairs, because he does like appearing in photographs in the press or on telly with initiatives in the village, and he's got a slush fund, so I think he should be asked, and maybe the chair of the council will come as well.
Maybe we could get a little video of him walking along
Yeah.
the paving slabs on Southview.
Yeah, and the white fence, because that is a mess.
And the fence at Riverside where it's about
But,
a couple of
You know, seriously, I think he should be made aware that we're still struggling to get anybody to respond.
Did we have any progress with the footpaths, Victoria Terrace footpath?
No, a member of the public had managed to speak to Brian Sanderson about it, who had said he will champion the cause internally, so we'll see what comes of that, but nothing that
Can we get Glenn Sanderson to champion any other causes?
I'll speak to Trevor and Glenn and see.
We did, yeah.
As we read it, when you put the thing in
I
the
think, yeah.
It's alright for the schools. Yeah, thank you.
But I'll see if I can get Glenn or Trevor to come round and look at these things, because
Yeah.
it might
Yes.
help.
There's also the
With a
sanitary
camera.
drains on,
Bellway.
Yeah, still haven't you?
there
I-
is still
Are they still,
some.
I thought they put something on there about those, but have they not been prepared now?
So you won't ask our footpaths.
They're definitely not repaired. I've not
So basically all the things we've
on
got
it through the
on.
app. I don't know whether they will hold off on anything there, because it's right in the bell mouth for the doctor's surgery, which it will all get dug up and disturbed during that. They may be holding off, hoping that someone else is going to pay for any
They've
repairs.
got a duty of care. on
Oh, they
something.
do, yeah.
It's,
Um,
Have all the roads been adopted?
They believe the roads are showing as on their adoption on the Fix My Street app. They don't recognise the drains, so it might be the drains have not been, the road colours haven't been adopted yet. But I believe the surfacing and all that area is showing on their adopted maps on the Fix My Street. It's just when you go into the detail of because I think when you go into that app, you need to like categorise, right, is it drains, is it this, is it road gullies, and it highlights them on the map, whereas if you do that for, say, Benmore Road, yeah, they show you the individual ones, whereas on there they don't, so you have to like, pinpoint location. But yeah, I can see that I don't believe there's any of the email, so we'll follow up again on that. Want to fence at the riverside?
Well, this is one of the same ones, are we going to just...
Yeah, I think
this is all what we're going to vote, whether or not we were going to offer to adopt this as our own responsibility if they would hand it over and get it fixed.
I think that might be the best option to try and take ownership of that, and then look to do some picnic benches of the sort on the land there as well. It's
Surely we should be very careful we don't end up adopting the supporting wall.
well, I think the argument for county is it's ours anyway.
No, they look after the retaining wall.
Well, if
Because the retaining wall supports the road, so they've said that basically they look after that, they claim the fence. And this is what, this was exactly my argument to them, that how can they own the road and the drop, but not the fence on the edge of the drop?
Yeah.
Because it's different, it's the same, comes down to the same thing though, that people were saying about being round departments, that it's different departments looking after different things, and they don't really talk to or agree to each other. It seems the same problem.
When they came and put that little fence in at the front, was that highways?
That's highways.
So in that case, they own that bit, so it should be highways that are responsible for.
That's because it's on,
Because
because it's
within
within so
the-
many
the
distances of the
Yeah, but if you
highways.
look at the map of what NCC own and what everybody else owns, it's all clearly marked as being their territory.
No, that is not marked as theirs.
And
I thought it was.
the walls on the riverside, is it, and what does it do? Stop riverside falling into the river?
Yeah.
Well, that's highway, surely.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
part
they
of
came
the
out
highway
with
structure.
It's showing up the road.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it must be joking.
It makes no sense, but I understand how it's happened. I don't think we need to be careful not to set a precedent saying, oh, if you don't look after something, we'll take it over and start looking after it.
What we
But
propose,
I think in
we
this,
could provide them with quotes saying,
Yeah.
look, these are quotes we've obtained
Yeah.
for repairing the fence
mhm,
to
if you don't do
encourage
it,
you to go along. We would like to do it. If not, the ground of safety, we'll do it, and then you will be returned, the invoice will be returned to yourself. Again, just go down that route with it. If we're not going to get them doing it, that one particularly is with safety, and especially when we're going to be doing the repairs going to the riverside ramp. Footfall to that area is going to be greater during next summer, and so I think it needs to be carried out sooner rather than later on that.
I think I'd like to suggest that we, as a council, might pay a structural civil engineer to walk down there, have a look at it, and say what he thinks the relationship between the wall and the road and the various fences is.
But NCC highways have been out looked at that wall before, because I raised some issues about
And
the
have they reported?
They look, I mean, it was quite a long time ago now, they do monitor the wall.
So they admit
The
that.
wall.
They monitor the wall because there's the crack at the bridge at the
Yeah,
end,
and
and
they
they monitor
monitor
the
it.
whole lot all the way along,
Yeah.
because there's movement from the bridge.
But then they have to ensure it's safe if it's their structure. So there has to be a way of breaking them, batting it back and forth, so it's not so hot.
Trevor likes Riverside, let's get him on.
Yeah.
Well, he was responsible for the little fence, wasn't he?
That was also to keep the cars off.
Oh, no, but it's still, he was
Yeah.
part of the movement forward,
Yeah.
so.
Perhaps we should have another protest. Get the other back on, so.
Say forward or something.
I will leave Trevor.
Maybe let us talk about it as well, because it's
Yeah,
both
sure.
sides of the river, you know.
We don't have a friend in highways, do we?
Obviously not, given the 7 years that everything falls on.
actually, if I did have a friend in highways, it wouldn't be nice to talk to.
But I don't think the top, I don't think that fits, I think that's the problem, that the strip right side of the road is highways and the drop is highways, and this is that, none of the departments wants,
To take ownership in the middle.
it's not on their map of ownership, I don't think.
where we could offer to demolish the wall and let the riverside fall into the river.
That's a sensible option.
Interesting thought though.
So we'll
It's like Kafka.
get an email out to Trevor Thorne and Councillor Samuelson as well. Item 12, I'm going to defer to the next meeting as I have. I'm expecting a further quote this week, which will give us a total of 3. Yeah. Amazing the pain you go through trying to get quotes from people. Surgery, given the recent meetings, I don't think there's anything further I can add.
It hasn't got any further to be planning yet.
I don't believe it's appeared yet, I've not checked personally.
It hasn't popped up online, it hasn't come through to me, I've usually sent an email.
I looked on the planning portal just before we came up, nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
We did get a letter from, just a sort of a courtesy letter that because we have an interest in the land, that just to notify us that planning would be being submitted, but it didn't tell me anything. It was just a sort of a generic kind of info letter.
Did you say it was going to be press released by Pursuer?
As they are planning when that is, I don't know.
I've never seen pictures of the design for the surgery or anything, probably because it was before my time, but we find that interesting if there's any sort of rough designs and things.
They did have what they call a microsite for the development that they plan as soon as the application's live with county and the planning. They plan on making the microsite live again, which should show you the designs and stuff. But I believe we have a copy that we can send around to you anyway.
I think when it's all official, we need to do a PR job on the parishioners and explain to them what's going to happen and where it's coming from. Sell it, make it a positive thing.
Yeah, that's good.
May I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Has the Parish Council actually seen the planning application that Azura have submitted to NCC? Are they expecting it to be the same plan that they've provided to the public in the public meeting a few months ago?
My understanding with the discussions that we've had with Andrew Cooper is that it is the same. They have, when he is the plan relaunching the microsite, he is going to put in there I think the sort of like questions and answers and bit of feedback on the comments they have received with regards to say the life changing and stuff like that. They've investigated some of them and have either discounted or allowed for it. I can't tell you either way on them, so I don't know the details of them all, but they've taken them into consideration anyway. That's my understanding from the conversations. But I've not personally seen the plan pack that was submitted, but it'll go live hopefully this week. Parish meeting and household information leaflet. To arrange for parish meeting and second household information leaflet.
We agreed that we will try and find a date for the parish meeting, but we are quite full.
And exhausted. If I do say so myself.
There's been a lot of committee meetings and extra meetings, so
I think that we should plan to do that after Azura have made their press release, so that because obviously if we've agreed that we're not going to do anything big until they've made their press release, then it would be nice for us to be able to do a summary in that.
I think
if we could time it like with the
I think when we've
that's going to be the big.
a bit more to add, when we've got a bigger update on that, when we've got potentially more progress in the Riverside grant and our own planning applications, I suppose.
Our own planning application.
there's building.
Building?
Right.
We discussed it.
Oh,
earlier.
Redfield.
Redfield.
Okay, right, okay, so.
We are building simply.
Is it worth trying to find a provisional date before Christmas? Because they should be doing the press release as soon as the planning application goes public, or even before.
Well, they're not waiting until they've got the plan decided before they do that.
Well, no, they'll get consent.
Yeah.
There might be mobs, but they're bound to get consent.
You never know. Don't jinx it.
Same as last week.
What?
Don't jinx it. It will be inevitable.
It's just if we were thinking of having 2 a year,
Yeah.
if it goes on into post-Christmas, it'll be time for the next
We've got until
annual.
We've got until June to do next, so like there's a window of time to do it. So
Yeah.
and we got early in the window this year, so we could go later in the window.
Because we don't have a meeting in January, do we?
No. But I think Jenna's right, if we can do a little bit so we can have a meaningful update for people.
Well, as soon as we get any information from the showroom, we can look at.
We could,
We can look at different dates.
So are we going to have a parish meeting or not at the 6 monthly time? This was agreed at the last one, which was a formal agreement.
Well, I don't see any reason for disagreeing with what we agreed with earlier.
Well,
Which
it's
was
just
that we
finding a
would.
date. It's just finding a date for it.
because what I'm thinking is if we're not going to have, if we don't have a parish council meeting in January, and January is going to be a quieter time, why don't we have one early in January? I mean, maybe not the day when the kids go back to school, but then utilise that time.
What's this routine, turn time? Get to the
I don't even know, let's have a look. Have you got it saved? Where?
No, it'll be early then. It'll be late then because they're breaking up that late.
Not till late. We don't break up till Christmas Eve.
So they're breaking
Yeah,
up.
so it's probably the 8th of January, isn't it, that they go back on?
no, maybe a in-service day or training day or something else added in there. You know, these teachers are like skying, don't they?
Don't say that, I don't say that. They're very hard.
They do, yeah.
Got my phone.
For how many, how many
Could
weeks
say-
holiday?
Results. Enrollment.
Yeah.
My summer holidays disappeared.
Sorry.
Following our meeting with Rob Murphy, has there been any, have we made any sort of public announcement, or has he, or has the planning or housing department about the garages and the husk nightmare green? Because
He sent that quite lengthy
Email though, I wasn't sure.
Email.
I need to check.
To
I think
us?
yes, to us, which you
But
should
I've
have got.
But I don't know whether he was that. I don't know whether that was for. I think I sort of assumed he was going to make some sort of.
Yeah.
well, it is an issue of public interest, and you know, if we weren't going to hold a meeting for another 3 or 4 months, maybe we should think about, you know, checking with Rob about
Okay,
that being
Yeah.
information being circulated.
Spring term is 8th of January.
But
back
it
to
should
school.
come up at the meeting anyhow, because that was a campaign that involved quite a lot of people in the
That's
village.
when it is going to hit, so I wouldn't do that.
It's from these.
No, it's always been something that's every year. It hasn't happened.
Do we look? I know oh no, that's terrible. Sorry. I was going to suggest the 11th of January, but my diary already massive for that day. Does it need to be a Monday? Basically?
No,
You know, but
because I could do, I've not got anything on that
I could do.
week, and I'll probably be desperate to get out of the house.
Yeah, but if you're
Get out of the house first thing in January.
if you're doing a circulation leaflet to go with it, like we talked about, then production is not feasible for them.
For that.
Right. So when's the earliest we could do it if we
Or
have?
we'd have to handwrite them all.
Very good, yeah.
But you can print it if you knew what you wanted, if it was
To
ready,
teach
you
it.
can print it before the Christmas period and just deliver it
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, but we could get a lot of stuff come through over
Well,
the
we
Christmas period.
need
And
to
we
say
could push-
something at the meeting
Yeah,
as well as printing it.
yeah, but usually the meeting gets taken with questions and things, right? But January is actually, it's a really,
Good time.
I don't use a keyword because it curses those months
Yeah.
Okay.
of availability.
Just lots of hands adding, go on.
Get off your phone.
I'm looking at dates here.
Just coming back to the garage, I understand from Peter that the garages that aren't in use are still unavailable, is that correct?
Right.
They are making them available.
They are not
No,
available.
that's what you said last time.
Right,
So, we need to follow up on that.
we do.
That's
Is that from recent discussions with them?
Yeah, I came in contact with Marnie who runs it, just says, I can't let it go, just don't know what's going on.
Right.
And it might be, again, just one of these like different departments not told you
Yeah.
plans, but I'll check.
And then follow up with it.
Did you already have that?
No.
Thanks, Richard.
Could I ask the clerk to remind us when we start thinking about next year's budget?
Like this
This week?
yeah, this month basically, so I'll start doing the draft and the finance committee's got a meeting coming up,
Okay,
and so forth. Because it's ideally would be approved by the council at either the November or the December meeting, because the pre-set request has to go in at the end of January and we don't meet in January. So we will have ideally approved our pre-set requests before Christmas. Because otherwise we have to have one of those extra
yeah.
mini meetings that we
Yeah.
all so.
So I have a question following that piece of information, which is, might there be issues which we would want to discuss with the parish meeting about, we've said what our priorities are in the previous leaflet, we can tell people what we're thinking of doing with the budget, and we could get some feedback from the parish about how we structure the budget for next year. That's sort of democracy at
Yeah,
work.
so when we could do, so then it would need to
Any of
be.
us, you the 25th of December? It's quiet day, isn't it?
Well, it's Boxing Day.
26, we're always a bit tired that day, but we can get something done
26th is the busiest day of the year.
for your profession.
Okay, in which case we probably want to go in, we'll have to go in November then for the parish meeting, because then the December meeting really to approve.
It's just mental though, and like, it's whether or not we're gonna have enough wrapped up.
I
Yeah.
don't think we will. I think we're better to go in
I think-
January, and I'm suggesting the 11th.
Yeah, and I just don't think people are interested enough in November either. Everybody's
Oh,
on
you
that.
said not the 11th, did you?
No, she's suggesting that.
Okay, but we can still air a budget, and if necessary, we'd have to have a,
We
if
could,
there were some good ideas,
we can wait
we'd
to
have to have a
submit,
mini meeting.
we would wait and submit the preset
Well,
request.
I'll tell the council we're submitting the budget late,
On that day,
like we do everything.
we would need the proviso that somebody else is willing to chair. Because I'm not available that
On the
day.
11th.
Yes.
Is anything wrong with the 15th? The Monday?
Not from me.
What will
We're
be
gonna
happening?
look at
That's
it.
the second week back to the
Have
second
you
week.
not a problem booking the hall?
I don't know, would I?
Third Monday in the month.
As a main hall.
Well, I presume
Yeah,
if it's going to be,
yeah,
it's going to be a
hall.
bigger room,
If we
isn't
had
it?
the numbers we had at the last one.
Does it have to be a Monday?
No,
No.
I just, no.
Well, I suggested the Thursday, I was being kind.
Unless you've got a screaming toddler here.
We could go early, we could go before us, do we have to go once the schools are back, we go on the Thursday, the first Thursday?
Fourth.
I'll do my apologies, oh, okay, I'm not here.
Can I suggest it gets sorted in return? Because you spend more time on this than you gas agent.
You were the one that wanted to do it.
Yeah, well, it's important. But we could sort things
What
out.
did I say? Yeah,
That's our leisure.
15th
Our
is the-
leisure.
We can.
We could have it on the 11th, it just, you know, if Alan's not available.
We need our done.
The 18th,
We do,
we'd have the 18th.
yeah.
We could do the 4th or the 18th.
18th.
Do Friday the 5th.
And then you know, like say Tuesday the 9th or Wednesday the 10th.
No, that's got balls in.
Okay.
So let's get a bowl and chat.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Can we give them Thursday instead?
No, those don't, because we've got that change and matches with the place and.
No, fair enough.
We go the 18th, that would still be the potential agenda.
I know it's all my
to
fault.
submit to the council.
Should we
18th.
provisionally look at the 18th then?
Hurry, thank you.
24.
It's
Oh,
2024.
right. 2024. That's weird, isn't it?
So what date was that?
The 18th of January.
Was there the hot soup?
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Roast chestnuts.
Got all those pumpkins.
Moving on then, correspondence received. Any comments? No? Moving on. Line.
Quite a few just waiting for decisions now.
Yeah, they're probably quite busy, aren't they?
Felton CNE primary school can't still be awaiting decision.
Well,
Well, there's other work.
if it's there, I think the light it is.
It's an interesting choice, isn't it?
It's all county then, county's on the work. So,
Is that what you check the website before you put it?
yeah, check the website when I do the agenda. I haven't checked it since, so it could have been had a decision today.
Okay. Any?
I do realise that the land southeast of Old Park Road in Swansea, it's not directly linked to us, but it is within our parish.
Yeah.
The change of decision from an equestrian centre to 2 millionaires' mansions. I don't think we should be in support of that. I think it's completely contrary.
Oh.
Is
Right.
that the one that
That's the one that I sent you around with an email
Yeah.
from the
was the
applicant.
was it their social media page that there was a bit of, or in the media was it about?
I didn't see it in the middle, I just went to some planning application
Is it?
where an equestrian centre would generate people coming into the area.
Yeah.
2 millionaires' houses don't.
Where is it? On the way into Old Swansea or at the opposite end coming down to the shore?
It's not far.
How do you describe it?
Where the
Is
coffee
this
shop
where
is,
the,
Where the coffee shop is.
down from the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the play
It's where they built all the new houses. Down from there.
Just down the
Oh,
park.
right, yeah. I agree.
I think it's the last thing the area needs.
We haven't got that on our
We
vision.
should try and get a budget for houses and social housing.
Yeah.
And it's certainly a big enough area to put multiple houses on.
And it is within our boundaries, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it's actually over the boundary. I think
On
it's
a
like
bit
part,
I think the entrance is through Swanland, isn't it? Yeah.
If people want to put in comments by email, if they've not done another look at the application.
Yeah, like another one, yeah. Any other comments? Items for the next agenda. has to defer.
Yeah.
That might be different, but property management can defer there as well. Or I think even rent is covered in there as well, is it? Would you like this week's as well? It's about the temperature.
That will be in the budget discussion, presumably.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I'm thinking of not having managed to keep everything we've been doing for the last 2 years going, but whether we have other bold new initiatives kind of thing that we need to budget for. Like the rec field and all that sort of stuff. Cleaning up the river. Putting Felton on the map.
It's already off, but we don't.
Make Felton great again.
Saving the shop.
Okay.
Village handyman,
Mm-hmm.
where have we got to with that?
No,
Next agenda.
Yes. Okay.
We haven't got this question.
no, not that. Oh, yes. If we send them in.
Well, I'm not sure if it's pertinent, but the mugger resurfacing contracts. Whether they come back for agreement with the, well, we'll come back for agreement for recommendation.
From the rec, yeah.
Yeah.
So the rec field will look at them and then we can come back to them.
That's all then. We'll close the meeting, 2017.
Hey,
That's the first meeting I've been to.
before 9 o'clock.